Okay, so I shot this entire video with no audio, and this has happened to me 3 times in the last 2 weeks. So I'm a little frustrated. But that's okay, because I'm gonna tell you guys the story anyway. So, hi guys. Hi guys. So, I went to the Grace Hopper conference in Houston, Texas this year. It was held on October 13th, so about a month ago. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. Yes, it was very overwhelming during it, but after it, I'm really glad I went. I signed up for it the first few weeks of school, actually. My school has this concept where it takes a certain number of girls to this conference every year. But a lot of other companies have these scholarships as well, because attending the conference is quite expensive. But companies like Facebook and Google and Microsoft take women all the time. They basically have a list. You can apply, I think, a year in advance or so, maybe a little bit ahead of it, and you can get a scholarship to attend. And they take care of everything. They book your hotel, they book everything. So I went on October 13th with my school, and there weren't that many of us. There were maybe 20 or so girls who attended. And first of all, as a freshman, you should apply to as many things as you possibly can, because even though you're a freshman, a lot of places want to target you and give you opportunities. So, for example, research. For example, I don't know, summer internships. There are a lot of places that really want you. So just because a few people say no doesn't mean that you're dead or that you're done for. You're totally fine. So anyway, I attended this conference, and while I was there, I realized how many women are in computer science. It is insane. I have never met that many women who are interested in this field. Never. It's usually me and maybe 2 other girls in a room of maybe 10 or 15 boys. It's never been 5,000 women in one convention center. That was insane on its own. So this conference is broken down into 3 days. And the first day was really more seminars, little speeches, a lot of very successful women and men coming to speak and give advice to this group of women. And it was incredible to see the number of men there too. I thought it was a very supportive and happy and just ambitious environment. It was just really, everyone fed off each other. It was amazing. So the first day I went to a bunch of really great talks, and I learned a lot about artificial intelligence and data analysis and just incredible stuff. And you learn how actual companies do this stuff too. You learn it's very applied, which I think is awesome. So I learned a lot that day, and I came back and I remember sending a bunch of people emails telling them how awesome their talks were and connecting with them, because the points of these meetings are to meet people you would not meet otherwise. Like, I would not meet people who work at Spotify or people who work in, research labs at high prestigious universities just randomly on the street. I mean, you could, but you probably wouldn't. Or you wouldn't really ask them what they do, So it was a really amazing experience. So the second day, the career fair opened, and there were seminars going on at the same time, but a lot of the time I spent at the career fair because I was looking for a summer internship. A lot of companies said they didn't accept freshmen as interns. So by the time I reached a lot of the companies that I really wanted to, first of all, there are so many companies at this career fair, and they're all looking for women. They're looking for girls. They're looking to diversify their workplace, and it's amazing. And they had so many amazing things you could try out. They had Oculus. It was amazing. It was awesome. So I basically gave my resume to everybody. There were so many companies there. I was so worried I would run out of copies, and they gave so much swag. I had to check in my bag coming back because I had so much swag in there. Like, it was a separate bag just with swag. It was insane. That rhymed. Anyway, so I went to a lot of different companies, and I handed them my resume. I told them about myself. Now, quickly, one of my biggest pieces of advice to anybody who is pitching themselves to any company is, on your resume, you should have a variety of different projects. If you're a freshman who hasn't necessarily taken too many college level classes, which most likely you haven't, I highly, highly suggest putting a bunch of different projects that you've worked on. Most likely, if you've taken AP Computer Science or you've learned it on your own, you've done projects. Put those on there. Don't think that they're small or meaningless or, so what? You program chess. That's awesome. Put it on there. Because you'll be amazed by what these recruiters are intrigued by, and you want them to learn more about you. So I highly suggest doing that. Also, put a variety of different projects that you've worked on your resume. Put one with a mentor. put one with a group that you've worked on, like your friends or maybe a team, just to show that you're able to work in a team. Put one that you did on your own, and make sure you know in depth about all of these different projects, what you learned, what you struggled with, and why you started it. And answer them, and even offer this information up if they don't ask you, because it makes you seem really intriguing. It makes them want to know more about you, and it keeps the conversation going. Another thing is, don't be afraid to hand your resume to companies that may not seem like they would accept you. For example, larger companies like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and Apple, you may seem a little like, oh my god, there's no way they'll accept me. You'd be surprised by the fact that they are looking for freshmen. You will get rejected. It's inevitable. Most likely you will. But you'll also get accepted. For example, I went and gave my resume to literally every company that came to there. I went to Apple. I gave them my resume and I gave them my spiel, and the guy was intrigued. He said, that's awesome. You've done a lot of projects on your own. You seem very interesting. You may hear from us. I said, okay. Okay, if you want to reach out to me, I'll pick up the phone, So that night, I was invited to an interview the next day. I was not prepared for that. I've never done a technical interview previous to that. I was completely scared, out of my mind. I didn't want to blow it. I was so nervous. I went there to my interview. He asked me my question. I froze. I was just like, oh my god, how do I program this? I don't know. And I had to make some small talk with him. And he noticed that I was nervous, and he asked me some questions about my resume just to calm me down a little bit. Then I was able to solve the problem. Now that was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that. And I know a lot of people have had interviews where they haven't had that. But I highly, highly suggest practicing before you go into any of these conferences. Just ask your friends to ask you questions, or ask you programming questions, so that people can understand that you're not new to this. And even if you are, don't be ashamed to say you're new to it, because everybody has their first interview. So I went to Apple. The guy told me he didn't accept freshmen on his specific team, but that he would put my name in a pile. I'm in a pile. That's awesome. People may think that's not as good, or that you didn't make progress. Your name as a freshman is in the system. You could get reached out to. That's incredible. You're not out of the game, A month later, I come home. I come home 2 days later, but a month later, I get an email from Apple asking for another interview. Another team in Apple was interested in me. My name would not have been in that pile had I not gone to Grace Hopper. Literally 3 days after I get that email, I'm in an interview with the guy. 2 days later, I have the internship. Because of Grace Hopper. I'm sure I would have achieved similar things without Grace Hopper as well, but it got me there. It was like a little bit of a highway to that thing. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. It is something I highly suggest anybody go to. Anybody. If you're a girl and you're feeling slightly overwhelmed or slightly worried, or you feel like there's no one there to help you, you're wrong. There's so many people there trying to get you where you deserve to be, and you just need to go find those resources. I highly suggest attending Grace Hopper. It's incredible. And getting an internship at Apple as a freshman, it's rare, but it's not impossible. And I want to get that out there. I want people to understand that you can do it, and you should do it, and you should try these things, because if I hadn't tried, I wouldn't know. You know what I mean? So I highly suggest, even if you can't get into Grace Hopper, even if you can't go to Grace Hopper, submit your application. Submit your application to Facebook University, to Google Engineering Practicum, to Google's normal internship, to Apple's normal internship, to startups. Apply everywhere, because you never know what awesome projects you're going to end up working on, what awesome people you're going to meet, and what lessons you're going to learn. And at the end of the day, you want to learn, and you want to do things that will help you learn and figure out what you're interested in. And it's no shame to say you don't know what you're interested in yet. No shame. Be honest. Say, when someone asks you what you're interested in, say, look, I'm a freshman, or I'm young in my undergraduate career. I don't know what I'm interested in. All I know is I like to learn, and I'm willing to give really anything a shot. Within reason. So, that's really all I had to say to you guys. I think Grace Hopper was an incredible experience. I know there are a lot more out there like it. So Grace Hopper isn't the only thing you can do. But I highly suggest getting out there, guys. Don't be nervous. Even if you're a guy, go for it. The world is at our fingertips. We should go try it, So, yeah. Have a nice day, guys, and I'll see you later.